Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing great. The topic that we are going to understand today is index notation. What is this index notation? क्या है ये? Let's understand this with a very simple and basic example. Suppose I have a multiplication string where all the fives are being multiplied with each other. I can convert it into a single term. I'll write 5 because the number in consideration is 5, and I'll write how many times it is there in this string. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I'll write 4 here. This form of representation is called index notation. Why? This 5 is called base, the number in consideration, and this 4 is called index. And in very common terminologies, we use it as power. So, converting this string into this form is called index notation. Now let's take an example here. I have a string of multiplication. I'll take all the 2's together, 2 into 2 into 2, and this 3's together, and then 4's together. Now you have to remember here something. सिर्फ 2 की ही स्ट्रिंग आपने 2 के लिए यूज करनी है. 3 2 को एक साथ नहीं यूज कर सकते हम. हमें एट अ टाइम 2 को यूज करना है, 3 को अलग यूज करना है, 4 को अलग यूज करना है. सिमिलर नंबर्स को यूज करके एक इंडेक्स नोटेशन की फॉर्म बनती है. लेट्स से हियर इट इज 2 into 2 into 2. I can convert it into index notation as 2 as the base, and how many times it is there in this sequence? 1, 2, 3 times. I'll write 3 here, multiplied with base is 3. How many times it is there? 2 times, multiplied with 4, taken as base. How many times it is there? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I'll write it 4. Now how do I read this? अब ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि इसको रीड किस तरह करना है. We say 2 raised to power 3 multiplied with 3 raised to power 2 multiplied with 4 raised to the power 4. इंडेक्स को हमेशा पढ़ा जाता है raised to the power. In this case 2 raised to the power 3. अच्छा, यहां पर एक चीज समझने जरूरी है. Whenever we raise by power 2, which means index अगर 2 है, like in this case we call it squared, or most commonly square. And whenever we raise something by power 3, we call it cubed, or more commonly simply cube. In this case, I'll read it as 2 cube multiplied with 3 square multiplied with 4 raised to the power 4. Except for 2 and 3, we don't have any general term, right? We have a generic term that we use, and it is raised to the power. Raised to the power. Whenever we raise something by 2, the power is 2, the index is 2, we call it square. Whenever there is an index 3, we call it cube. But whenever we have anything else than 2 or 3, let's say 4, 5, 6 raised to the power 4, raised to the power 5, raised to the power 6, right? Only for 2 and 3 we say square, cube. I hope this is clear. Let's take another example. Now again we have a multiplication string, and we have numbers similar like 2 2 2 here, 3 3 3 here, and 4 4 here. First, I will convert it, rather, I would say I would rearrange it in a simple format where I can have all the 2's together, 3's together, and 4's together, so that it is easy for me to convert it into index notation. But उससे पहले आपको एक चीज समझना जरूरी है. Let's suppose I have 2 multiplied with 3 multiplied with 4. What is the answer? 2 multiplied with 3 is 6, and 6 multiplied with 4 is 24. I will reposition these elements and I'll say 4 multiplied with 2 multiplied with 3. What do I get? 4 into 2 is 8, and 8 multiplied with 3 is 24. This proves अगर मेरे पास एक एलिमेंट्स की सीक्वेंस है, एक स्ट्रिंग है, एंड दे आर ऑल मल्टीप्लाइंग टुगेदर, अगर मैं उनको रिपोजिशन कर दूं, मेरे फाइनल आंसर पे उसका कोई इफेक्ट नहीं आता. सो आई कैन एक्चुअली इजीली रिपोजिशन द एलिमेंट्स फॉर माय कन्वीनियंस. Let's see here in this example. I'll reposition the elements so that I have all the 2's, 3's and 4's together. I'll say 2 multiplied with 2, and I'll take this 2 here because multiplication करने से reposition करने से multiplication में आंसर में कोई इफेक्ट नहीं आता. I'll say here 3 and then 3, this 3 and then this 3, and then I'll take 4 and 4. Now I can convert it into index notation simply by taking 2's, 3's and 4. This will be 2 in the base and 3 in the power or index multiplied with 3 as the base and again 3 times, so 3 as the index or power, 4 as the base and 2 as the index or power. Now how will I read it? 2 cube multiplied with 3 cube multiplied with 4 square. 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 square. If I have any other thing, let's say I have 4 4's here, I'll multiply it with like this, and this will become, now I will read it as 2 cube, 3 cube and 4 raised to the power 4. Except for 2 and 3 as index, all other terms, all other index, all other powers are taken as, are read as raised to the power. Now let's say I have another example in which I'll do the reverse thing actually. Let's say I have 3 square into 4 cube into 5 raised to power 4. I want to convert it into standard form. How will I do that? 3 is the base, so I'll write 3. How many times? 2 times. And I'll put multiplication sign here. 4 is the base, so I'll write 4. How many times? 3 times. And I'll put multiplication sign in between. 5 as the base, and how many times it is there? 4 times. 5, 5, 5, 5, and I'll put all the multiplication signs here. See, converting it into index notation and index notation to standard notation. So the question here is, what is, if anything, raised to the power 1, and if it is raised to the power 0, what does that actually mean? Now let's say I have number 4 and I say it is raised to the power 1. What does that actually mean? It means कि उस string में, multiplication string के अंदर, there is just one 4. Then why would I write raised to power 1? I can simply write 4. That's why आपको कभी भी raised to power 1 नहीं नजर आएगा. We always write it as 4. If there is anything raised to power 1, we simply write it as it is. 2 raised to power 1 is 2. 3 raised to power 1 is 3. Simply write it like that. Don't put 1 as index, right? Now, what is anything raised to power 0? यहाँ पे ना चीज़ें थोड़ी सी इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाती हैं. I'll tell you simply 4 raised to power 0 is actually 1. Now, if this is enough for you, तो आप वीडियो को यहाँ पर ख़त्म कर सकते हैं. बट इफ़ यू आर क्यूरियस कि सर रेज टू पावर 0 1 कैसे हो सकता है, 4 रेज टू पावर 0 शुड बी 0, क्योंकि 4 एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता. एंड अगर कोई चीज़ वहाँ पे एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर रही, एक मल्टीप्लिकेशन स्ट्रिंग के अंदर कोई चीज़ एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर रही, तो उसको तो 0 होना चाहिए ना. ना ऐसा नहीं होता. यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी चीज़ों को समझने की ज़रूरत है. सपोज हम एक मल्टीप्लिकेशन स्ट्रिंग लिखते हैं, 2 square, 3 square, and let's say 4 raised to power 0. The idea here is, हमें जब मल्टीप्लिकेशन करनी है, हमारा आंसर अनचेंज्ड रहना चाहिए. आंसर चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट? फाइनल आंसर शुड नॉट चेंज. अब मैं दोनों केसेस ट्राई करता हूं, जिसमें एक में मैं 0 पुट करूंगा 4 रेज़ टू पावर 0 को, और एक में मैं 4 रेज़ टू पावर 0 को 1 पुट करूंगा. एंड सी व्हाट हैपेंस. 2 मल्टीप्लाइड विद 2 मल्टीप्लाइड विद 3 मल्टीप्लाइड विद 3 मल्टीप्लाइड विद, मैंने इसको फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग 0 पुट किया है. 2 मल्टीप्लाइड विद 2 इज 4, 4 इंटू 3 इज 12, एंड 12 इंटू 3 इज 36. But if multiplied with 0, this becomes 0, right? So अगर मैं इसको 1 पुट करता हूं, then the answer is 2 into 2 4, 4 into 3 12, 12 into 3 36, 36 into 1 is 36. मेरे पास आंसर जो एक्चुअली में होना चाहिए था वो क्या था, क्योंकि 4 रेज़ टू पावर 0, अब हम ये कह रहे हैं ना कि 0 यहां तो कुछ है ही नहीं, 4 है ही नहीं, ये तो हमने अपनी तरफ से रख दिया यहां पर. तो हमारा एक्चुअल आंसर क्या था, 2 2 4, 4 3 12 एंड 12 3 36. इस आंसर के साथ कौन सा आंसर मैच कर रहा है, 0 के साथ या 1 के साथ वाली स्ट्रिंग? ऑब्वियसली ये वाली स्ट्रिंग. दैट इज वाई मल्टीप्लीकेशन में अगर हम किसी भी चीज को मल्टीप्लाई बाय 0 कर देंगे तो वो तो 0 हो जाएगी, आंसर ही चेंज हो जाएगा पूरे की पूरी स्ट्रिंग का. ना इस केस में जब हम 1 पुट करते हैं तो इसमें आंसर हमारा 36, दैट इज अनचेंज, राइट? दैट इज वाई एनीथिंग रेज टू पावर 0 का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि वहां पे कुछ भी नहीं है. इट एक्चुअली मीन्स कि हमने वहां पर 1 पुट किया है. मल्टीप्लिकेशन में 1 के साथ मल्टीप्लाई करने से आंसर्स आर अनचेंज्ड. दैट इज वाई रेज टू पावर 0 इज 1, 4 रेज टू पावर 0 इज 1, 5 रेज टू पावर 0 इज 1, 6 रेज टू पावर 0 इज 1. जब भी कोई चीज रेज टू पावर 0 होगी तो वहां पर हम 1 लिख देंगे. तो मैंने यहां पर 4 रेज टू पावर 0 को 1 लिख दिया, so that my answer remains unchanged. That is why 4 raised to power 0 is 1. I hope this is clear. अब आप अपनी बुक्स ओपन कीजिए, इंटरनेट से सोर्सेज हैं आपके पास, अलग सोर्सेज हैं, whichever source you are using to study, जाइए और प्रैक्टिस कीजिए इंडेक्स नोटेशन के क्वेश्चंस. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, take care.